Hello, and I just have a short vlog for you today, or I guess this is a vlog. I'm going to show you a couple things. First is fairy tea. I got given this recipe by the devic spirits around here, otherwise known as fairies, and I know how that sounds. I do, but it's true, so it's a long story and I won't tell it now. But anyway, this is what you do. You get a jar of water, and usually I put in the other things first and then fill it with water, but since I'm outside, I'm just doing the jar of water first. And then into the jar of water you put some lavender flowers, just maybe about a teaspoonful, I guess. And, well, that's more like a tablespoon, but it doesn't matter, a little bit. And then about 6 or 7 rose hips. And then a cinnamon stick. And these you can use over again. These are also great for smudging. You just light the end of it and use it like you would use any smudge stick. They smell delicious too when you smudge with them. And this time I'm putting in some German chamomile. I don't always include German chamomile, but I kind of felt like it now, especially since it's so hot these days that I am really doing anything I can to stay calm and not reactive in the heat. And finally, hibiscus flowers. And these make it a nice red color when it's done. And about everything you put in teaspoon, tablespoon. And then once you have all of your ingredients in your jar, you just sit it in the sun all day. And you can either use the window in your house if the sun shines, or what I'm going to do is after I'm finished with this video, I'm just going to leave it right here on this rock that I'm sitting on, and the sun is going to come up and be over this little clearing for quite a little while today. So that'll be enough to make the tea. So that is fairy tea. And the other thing I want to tell you about is an incredible experience that happened to me this past week. Last Monday night, so I guess a week ago yesterday, my husband and I were lying in bed and we started seeing flashing lights out the window. And this has been something that's been commonly seen in this county over the past 2 weeks. It's like they're fireflies, but rather than being yellow or white, they're blue-green, and they flash in a very different way, almost electronic-like. Although you can't really see the source of them, especially if it's really dark you can. But even when it's not totally dark, it just seems as if there's nothing there, it's just fireflies until you pay attention and you see that no, they're not fireflies at all. And where we saw them was in the clearing behind me, and my house, you can't see it in the video I don't think, but it's just to the side here, and our bedroom window faces the backyard and also the side yard, which is that way. Anyway, so we're seeing these flashing lights, and as often happens with contactees, even though I connect on an astral or etheric level daily with my contacts, I am terrified when they're going to become physical in a visceral way that makes me think that some trauma must have happened that I don't exactly remember. Anyway, so they're coming because I, ended up getting some type of communication going between me and the lights where they would shine after I asked a question, in ways that when you're doing it, you can really understand it. Are you this? Nothing. Are you that? Shine. And, well, that might have been a coincidence. Are you that? Shine. So, on and on. Anyway, so I knew they might come, and I was terrified, and I said, guys, I really want to see you, but I'm going to freak out if you come right now. Could you leave me a note or something? Or, it doesn't have to be a note, but it could be something like that. And then I went to sleep, and nothing happened. I guess they stopped. I eventually stopped watching them and went to sleep. And then the next morning, I visited the Museum of the Shenandoah Valley with a friend, and we went into the back garden. There weren't many people there that day. We got there very soon after it opened, and I'd completely forgotten about my request the previous night. I remembered that there had been lights there, and I told my friend about it, and she and I were walking around in the back garden, and on a shelf I found a note, and this is the note. And it was sitting up on the shelf, and what it says on the front was, "I believe this was meant for you." And so I thought, well, the shelf also served as kind of a fireplace in this tiny little garden cottage we were in at the back of the property, and there was dew on it. It was a little bit wet, so it had obviously been there all night. And I figured that someone had written something to drop it into the fire. But I do believe in synchronicity, of course, so I picked it up thinking it might be an interesting message, especially once I saw the words on the front. And once I picked it up and read it, my friend decided it wasn't for both of us, it was just for me because it didn't really speak to her, although it really did speak to me, and I didn't remember until after that I had asked for a note. But here's what the inside looks like. You can see it's in script. It's not my handwriting at all. I mean, you can see my handwriting in the book. It's similar, but it's not the same. And I thought about getting out all my handwriting analysis books and really dissecting this, but I decided that that wasn't the point and that wasn't what I should do. Anyway, this is what it says. I knew that you would worry. I knew that you would feel lost. I knew that you would be upset. But I will wait until morning, for I have faith in your search. The moment you feel like giving up, think of all the reasons you held on this long. And hold tight, for this too shall pass. And so as I'm finishing reading this note, I remember that I asked the previous night for them to leave me a note. And when I asked, I didn't really believe it was going to happen. When I woke up that morning, I looked out all the windows onto our porches and stuff, and there was nothing there. So I just figured, well, it was another one of those times where it seems like something's going to happen and then nothing does. And then I found that note. And I keep it in my journal now because my brain was freaking out as soon as I saw it. And I think that things are just becoming more physical. And this happened a week ago today. I found the note. So I don't know what's happening for you guys. I know that I've spoken to some people, starseeds and non-starseeds, just intuitives, that are having crazy things happen. So just hold tight and have fun with it, because all the crazy stuff that's been happening has been really good. It hasn't been scary. It's just been really intense, and it's really pushing the boundaries of what we think is real and what we think isn't real. Because after I read this note, I looked closer at the fire, the stick setup, and the fire had never been burned. All of them were completely unburned, and I don't know why someone would set up a little fire in this way back cottage, garden house, and not burn it, and then the note be sitting there perfectly as if it were dropped into a fire to be burned, but not. It seemed kind of like a trick almost to get me to pick the note up and be able to explain it to myself. A fun trick and a loving trick, but a trick nonetheless. But it makes me laugh because I realize as my contact experiences progress that at least the ones I'm in touch with are really loving, and so it's a fun ride. So anyway, take care of yourselves. Give yourselves what you need, be it sleep or home spa or time with friends or solitude or company. Just make sure that you are really attuning to your own needs, because that's what we need to be doing right now as all of these crazy shift things are going on. Okay, we'll see you another time. So there's one more thing I wanted to show you. This is the finished fairy tea. It is about, how many hours have passed? About 7 or 8 hours, and it gets so red, see? And then you strain it. I use a nut milk bag, but you can use cheesecloth, and put in a couple spoonfuls of honey, and then you get this. And it is delicious. Drink it over ice. Sometimes for grown-ups, I mix it with a little white wine. It's delicious. So anyway, enjoy, and I will talk to you soon.